Welcome back to Real, Raw, and Random Podcast. This is episode 13. I'm Susan.
And I'm Jordyn. So, how's it going? How are you doing?
Good. We'd have, what, a couple of weeks off?
Yeah, pretty much. We were on vacation.
Insane. Yeah, you went on vacation. Work has been crazy for me. But it's good to be back. So, Vegas.
Yeah, I went to Vegas. I turned 23 on Tuesday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. We're recording this on Saturday, so I turned 23 on Tuesday. That was really fun. We went to Vegas. I don't know. I can't remember the last episode. I can't remember if I said I was going to Vegas or not.
I don't think you did because your mom kind of like
she surprised me.
Yeah,
with it.
So I don't know if we knew that.
I don't know.
I don't think we did.
I don't remember, but yeah, she had because I always, especially lately, I've been falling asleep really early after work. So she finally, let me make sure my mic is on after what happened last time. I'm self-conscious about it. But I've been falling asleep so late after work or so early after work. She said she was going to talk to me about it one night when I got home, but I was already asleep. So she just pulled the trigger on it.
Yeah.
So we stayed from Monday to Wednesday, in Vegas. We stayed at Treasure Island. That was a really fun experience because I've stayed at Treasure Island before, but this time around, for some reason, we were just like everywhere.
Yeah.
We did not stay at the hotel at all because, we went to New York, MGM Grand, Park MGM, the Cosmopolitan. I feel like I'm probably missing some. We went to like the Coke store, the M&M store. Mm-hmm. We ate a bunch of good food. Oh, we went to Caesar's Palace. That's the one I'm forgetting because we had the buffet there, the Bacchanal buffet there, which was so good.
It is good.
The best like seafood you could ever have in your life. But the thing I wasn't ecstatic about was the seats to and from. Because the flights she got were cheap flights because she was like, yeah, there's a really good deal on flights right now.
Where'd you guys fly on?
Frontier.
Oh, okay.
And the thing with Frontier is like no shade to Frontier, but I'm a little bit upset with them because when you fly Frontier, the seats might be a little bit cheaper, but you have to pay for everything. Mm-hmm. You have to pay to choose where you sit. Or where you sit, I'm pretty sure. You have to choose, or you have to pay for a carry-on. Yeah. And obviously you have to pay for a check bag. Which sometimes the paying for a check bag is the same price as paying for a carry-on.
It is, yeah.
It was the worst thing ever. So like going to the seats were just really cramped because we didn't pay for because if you pay for a bag, you're automatically zone 1. So you board the airplane first. That's how Frontier does it. We just did the backpack route because we were only going to be there for 3 days.
Yeah.
So what the hell? And then, so the seats going to were pretty cramped. It just was uncomfortable. The seats coming back home to Colorado, though, those weren't that bad. It's just the fact that her and I got separated. We weren't sitting next to each other. So that was weird. Just from the way that like booking, because you have to, the earlier you get on to book your like ticket or to reserve your seat or whatever, like checking in, that's the word I was looking for, checking in. You might get better seats. So we were zoned for going back to Colorado, but we were separated and I was sitting in between this big burly dude on my left side and this really small woman on my right side who I didn't notice her much except for how like little she was on the seat because I was like, oh my God, thank God. Like him and I aren't going to be like right up on each other.
Yeah.
So I got comfortable with the flight. I always download like a couple movies, no matter how long the flight is.
Yeah.
Some games, a podcast or two, just because I know how low my attention span is.
Yeah. So
I'm listening to that. And then on the way, I think it was after they had made the announcement that we were closing in on Denver. I see her on my right side. She starts looking in the first she starts going like this. She's like,
oh.
And then she starts like fanning herself. She takes a little thing out and fans herself again. Then I was like, oh, she's not feeling it because there was turbulence coming down.
She probably made herself nervous.
The turbulence didn't help. She probably already, when we were coming back from Vegas, she could have been drunk or something.
Yeah.
because we're going down and she starts feeling it. And then I see her looking in the little pocket. I'm like, oh, she's about to throw up. She's about to puke. Because I could just, for some reason, it's just the context clues. I'm like, she's definitely looking for one of those things to throw up in those little bags, which they don't have anymore, by the way.
Yeah, I haven't seen those.
Which is crazy to me, but whatever. And then she finally like goes in her purse, gets a Ziploc baggie, pukes in it. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? It was crazy. I just wanted to, I forgot I didn't tell you.
I'm surprised she didn't get up and go to the bathroom. I know you guys were landing, but I still would have been like, I need to go. I'm not going to sit here and puke in my bag.
She should have earlier, if she felt sick, she should have gone to the bathroom at some point.
Sometimes that hits you though so randomly.
That's probably what it was. It just like came on and she was like, oh, I'm about to puke. And she's like thinking of the fact that she has me right next to her, this other guy on the left side of her, the seatbelt sign is on. And she's like, all of her options are done. And she's like,
at least she had a bag. Oh,
thank God. And thank God it wasn't like a thing where like, it was so many things that could have happened, which grosses me the hell out. Yeah. I'm like, I hope she's okay. She probably lives in Denver, in Colorado, so I hope she's good. It's just crazy. We were going to the same place. I'm like, ew.
Oh.
But yeah, besides that, besides the flights to and from, Vegas was amazing. It was a good time.
Good.
What have you been doing all week? Just working?
Working, gym, dealing with random ass people. Like there's been just like rude people around lately. I don't know what.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What like the deal is.
That's funny you said that.
Yeah, like they're just like, I don't know, it's like it almost feels like people are like on edge, and I'm just kind of like, dude, whatever, like do your thing. I was talking to Beto. He was just FaceTiming me. I didn't talk to him for a while, and I was telling him like just like simple things. Like I was at the gas station, I was pumping gas, and I'm not always I'm paying attention to my surroundings, but not in the sense where I'm like trying to like get their attention. So I'm just kind of like, oh, there's a car next to me, there's a car behind me, whatever. And so I was pumping gas, and the guy on the other side of me, he like looks at me and he goes, oh, I like your shoes. And I was like, oh, thanks. They're my Nike Blazers from the gym. And so then I looked down at my phone because I was sending my assistant a message, and all of a sudden I hear I hear him screaming, and I was like,
the assistant or
the guy who had like commented on my shoes.
Oh, okay.
And then like I was just like, it took me a second to like register what he said, and all I heard was, just because you're cute doesn't mean you have to be a fucking bitch.
Oh my God.
And I was like,
that's crazy.
I turned around and I looked at him and I go, are you talking to me? Because I genuinely was like so lost. And then he was just like, yeah. He goes, I said something else and you completely ignored me. And I was like, I'm on the phone. Like, I'm literally on the phone. I was like, who the fuck crapped in your cornflakes? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then he was just like, well, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were on the phone. He's like, I thought you were just ignoring me. And I was like, that sounds like a you fucking problem.
Even if you are ignoring him, that's not the way to go about that. No. It's like, oh, just take your L and like, oh, she doesn't want to be bothered.
So then I was just like, that sounds like a fucking you problem. And I texted Anthony about it, and he's like, it sounds like his ego got hurt. And I was like, sounds like he's going to get his ass beat somewhere along the line. He's going to say the wrong thing to the wrong person. I was like, what if he had said it to somebody different that maybe had a shorter trigger, or somebody who was more sensitive? Because I'm going to look at you and be like, are you fucking for real? Are you serious?
That's my thing. Like, whenever people have crazy responses, it's like, you don't know that I'm crazier than you are. You don't know. You don't know I have a gun in my bag. Or if you're like, as a woman, you don't know that like, he didn't know that you didn't have a boyfriend in the gas station getting snacks or something. And he's over here yelling at you.
He's like losing his shit. And I was like,
that's crazy.
I just kind of looked at him like
the gall.
Yeah. And so that, and then plus, we talked about the message that I got from that random guy. So it's
that's a funny one.
This is always interesting because, and you know what? I think I should read it verbatim because I don't want to lose like some of the craziness. But
please do.
So I don't typically respond to messages that are sent to me, especially if it's somebody I don't know. It's just kind of like whatever. And so
I just think this is so funny.
it's insane. So okay, so this person, like back in April, no, shoot, all the way back in February, sent me the very first message saying
it's June now.
Yeah, it's June now. So back in
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. First message was in February, and he just says, "Hi, I'm Chris." I don't respond to it. I get messages like that all the time. I'm just like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then he sends me a picture of himself. I don't respond to it. Sends me another message in March. "Hi, I'm Chris," again, with another picture of him. I don't respond. I don't even open it. And then April sends me another message again. "Hi, Susan, I'm Chris," with a little wavy hand. Another picture of himself. Okay.
Oh, that's okay. This is interesting to see what he looks like now. Okay.
So he's sending the pictures, right? So then he periodically is sending me these, "Hey, that looks so good, blah blah blah, this and that." Once again, I'm not engaging in it. That's not what I'm looking for. So I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna let him do his thing.
Okay.
There's a lot of people in my inbox who talk to themselves. It's okay. It's entertaining.
Which is so funny.
It is. It's entertaining. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So then he sends me a message on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
It was a gym photo that I posted, and he said, "Try more setup." So immediately I was like, what does that mean? Right. And I think it was just like a standard photo. I don't remember which story it was. But it was just like a standard picture of me, maybe in front of like the weight rack. I don't know what it was, but it was something. And so I was just like, it piqued my interest. So I was like, what does that mean? That's all I said to him, with like a little laughing emoji. And he said, "Just a helpful tip from one gym enthusiast to another." So then he sends me a picture, which if I didn't react to his pictures, he would unsend them. Okay. So he sends me a picture. If I recall correctly, it was a picture of like him with the shirt off. I didn't react. Then he says to me, "You have a nice core. Keep up the hard work." Then he says, "Trust me, sweat equity does have its advantages." Sends me another picture and then unsends it because I didn't respond, and then sends me a laughing emoji.
What do you think those pictures were? Just more of him?
So the first one was of him, like it was his abs. The second one, I vaguely glanced at it. I think that one was like in front of like a weight rack type of a thing. It was nothing that was like I'm never drawn to those things. Like if it's obviously somebody that I know, that I'm like interested in, or like that I'm attracted to, that's one thing, but you're going to unsolicited like send me this shit. Like I'm not interested in it. So I just ignored it. So then all I said, I responded to it and I said, "Yes, it does." Like, because he said sweat equity has its advantages. And I said, "Yes, it does." Then he says, "Thank you. I'm Chris. It's nice to meet you." Sends me another picture.
Okay.
This picture is of him laying in his bed in the fruitiest fucking pose in his little man panties. And like, clearly, like the whole goal was to show me like his butt, which I was like,
which is so, wait, first of all, before you go on, that's so gay. Like,
yeah.
Why do you want somebody to see your ass?
Exactly. And he sends me the message after that saying, "Don't forget legs." Okay. Mind you, all these messages are like 12:08, 12:31, 12:48. So he's literally like, and then he sends a picture and unsends it. Sends a picture, unsends it. Sends a picture, unsends it. You could see I literally am not responding to any of it.
So like after he sends that picture and he says, "Don't forget legs," then he says, maybe a little TMI. That's what he means by TMI, is the fact that he showed you the picture?
Yeah. So I think this might have been a message he sent. So he says, sends a picture somewhere in here in this unsent sent thing. Oh, okay. So this is where it's the fruity little underwear picture he sent me. Before that, he sent a message saying that his little downstairs friend was really large and blah, blah, blah. And so I was just like,
shit. Oh my God.
So I'm like, I'm not responding to that. And that's when he was like, "Don't forget legs." And I'm like, he's stupid. Then he says, "Maybe a little TMI, but you get the point." Once again, I'm not responding to him. That's when he sends me the fruity little butt picture. And he says, "Should I delete?"
Okay.
Then he sends me God knows what. I don't know what it was. And then a thumbs up. You could see like he just literally is like, and I'm not saying anything. Then he sends me another message. "Didn't mean to come on so strong. My apologies." Spelled incorrectly. "No hard feelings?" ? Sends me another fucking picture.
No hard feelings?
Okay. So then I said, "No apologies needed." I was trying to like help him save face at this point. I was like, I'm not trying to be a dick. He already sent me his fruity little pictures. I'm not interested in them. So I said, no apologies needed and no judgment passed. It's just not what I'm looking for. Your dedication is impressive. So I'm still trying to help him save himself.
Mm-hmm. Like, just stop.
Right. Yeah. Like, just
Quit
stop.
while you're ahead.
So then he says, I totally understand and wasn't trying to offend you. I was being a little more flirtatious than needed. I do think you're very attractive. Actually, I think you're drop dead gorgeous. And I was just looking for a reaction. I don't use looks to advance my hidden agendas. Was my comment about me saying that I have a very, very big, beautiful bleep to TMI? So then I said, it was in poor taste and made an assumption about what I want. That type of attention is not hard to come by. I don't like things that everyone else can get. I was not impressed by what you sent me. Hope you have a good day.
You're still being very
considerate and nice, right?
Yeah.
So then he sends me a whole other paragraph. This wasn't a picture. This was a whole other paragraph about, you're right. I'm so sorry. It was in poor taste. I shouldn't have done that. That was disrespectful. He's like,
because he know he was wrong. For
yeah.
that shit.
And he's like, this is not something I typically do. I'm very selective about who I date and who I talk to,
you're so attractive
and who I send like photos to. This is not something I do. And he's like, I'm very, very selective on who I give my time to. And then he goes, do you think that's bad?
Still
my
asking you
response,
questions
yeah, my response was, that's for you to decide, with a little shrugging emoji. Okay. So he said, I mean, I get it. So if your best friend or someone you care about asks you about a dilemma they're having, is that your general response, a shrug, and that's for you to decide to answer? What the fuck ever, piss off MILF with the flip off emoji.
Which is, okay, see, the funny thing is, off camera, I've heard this story before. I still think it's just as funny, the fact that he called, okay, MILF, at the end. Like, first of all, if you...
It's a what the fuck ever, fuck off MILF.
Oh, fuck off MILF. With the middle finger.
With the middle finger. Like, he's full on flipping me off,
but
right?
calling you a MILF at the same time.
And calling me a MILF at the same time. So this dude is already...
Piss off, MILF.
He's already dug his hole.
Piss
so at this
off,
point,
MILF.
I'm like, all right, I'm kind of over it. I just gotten back from the gym and I was like, let me just, yeah. And I was like, I said, you slid into my DMs. I didn't ask for your attention or your problems. How old are you? Grown-ass man throwing a tantrum because he didn't get the attention or response he wanted. How embarrassing. So I thought he'd be done with that. So then he says, problems? Attention? Don't flatter yourself. I was just commenting on your women's plus size 18 dress size. And some suggestions on how to reduce the size of your fat ass. You know, some helpful tips? LOL. I'm not embarrassed. I get DMs daily from MILFs, divorcees, engaged widows, debutantes, college co-eds, accountants. First of all, debutantes, what the fuck? Really? Debutantes?
That's so specific and weird.
College co-eds, accountants, swinkers, and married women. You think I'm upset or put out by a middle-aged divorcee in the middle of a midlife crisis trying to resurrect herself and figure out what she fell short in life? Now that's embarrassing. I mean, you're cute for what that's worth, but far from drop dead, which he had already said in the messages above, you're drop dead gorgeous. And so now he's like, you're cute, but you're far from drop dead. I would not notice you in a room full of hot women. The competition is stiff. Try getting over yourself. It's not becoming as tacky. Which is crazy. Because we all know that only women and bitches are going to attack your weight the very first thing that they can do. Clearly, I'm not a size 18. Not even anywhere near that. Which I thought that shit was funny. So I was like, all right, we're on. So I said, you are by far the most insecure, pathetic excuse for a human. I said, size 18? Bitch, please. Clearly, you don't know women and you haven't been with one in a long time if you think I'm a size 18. I said, I date real men who are bodybuilders, not some gay ass little boy who sends their embarrassing pics to women for attention. I said, once again, you slid up in my DMs, not the other way around. Keep in mind, you messaged me. For someone with so much attention, you spent a lot of time trying to get mine, sending me your sad little gay pose pictures. Embarrassing. The only one who needs to get over themselves is you. It's cool. I have the screenshots of your pathetic attempt at attention with your gay little pictures and your fake apologies. Look in the mirror. The only thing not becoming and tacky in this convo is you. Good luck, loser. But then I blocked his ass. I waited for him to read it and then I blocked him. So, I mean, I guess the reason why I really bring that up is because we talked about this. Like, unwanted attention, right? In social media, it's gonna happen. Like it's a part of the nature of it. I typically do not engage in bullshit. I don't do it. I don't have the energy for it. I just don't want to.
There's no point in it.
There's no point in it. So I usually leave it alone. This one just happened to be like, all right, curiosity killed the cat, and it fucked me over because I ended up having to argue with the fucking idiot. But the amount of men, and you can speak to the women's side of this, the amount of men who think that they're going to get attention or some kind of, like a response with their stupid ass, first of all, men, okay? I guess I can't speak for all women, but we don't want to see your little wiener pictures. Keep
that shit to yourself.
It's not cute. It's not cute. It says something about you that is embarrassing as a man, that like that's how you look for attention. Like that's your opener to say to a girl like, "Hey, I think you're cute. I would like to get to know you."
Yeah, here's my wiener.
Yeah, let me show you my junk. Like, no, keep that in your pants. A, no one's asking to see that shit. B, the amount of men and women, I'm sure, do this too, who talk to themselves.
That shit's crazy.
In your DMs. Like, I mean, I think the record I have right now, and at this point, it's more comical than anything, but for the last 7 years, he has sent me a message every single day saying hello.
Really?
Every single day. Every single day.
7 years is insane.
7 years. Every single day. So I will give him credit.
Merry Christmas.
It's hi. Hello. Hola. Hi.
Does he ever say like happy holidays, happy birthday?
No. It's always hi. Hello.
That's weird.
It's been for 7 years. So I'm like, so it's become like a running joke. Sammy and I laugh about it all the time. But like, I mean, there was one guy who's just like, so what? I'm just a fan. And I don't respond to them. I can see them in the thread.
You are just a fan.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, I'm not responding to that. And then he's just like, that's just fucking rude. I'm just going to stop following you. Okay. No one asked you to follow me anyway. And then like a day later, he slides up on another one of my pictures. Oh, you look amazing. Bitch, I thought you were a fan and offended by that. Like, I don't know what you want me to do with this. So like, I'm saying this because I think some guys don't get it. Don't do that shit. Like, don't. Like, if you're trying to get at somebody, do it in a respectful way. I mean, I guess if it must work in some instances,
That's
right?
the only thing that I'm like, it has to work. Like,
if they're doing it that frequently.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're just genuinely insane. That's probable.
I mean, this guy, what was his name? Asshole McGee.
Asshole McGee. The one that said you were a size 18.
Yeah. Like Christopher Jordyn. He obviously has issues. Like, I mean, to like slide up and talk shit like that to somebody because you're not getting the attention that you want.
Stranger.
Like, that's insane. Like, you don't know who you're talking to.
That's the thing that pisses me off the most about that. Like, first of all, as a man, like, I'm in a relationship, so it's not as a big a deal to me as it is, or as it was. But like, these guys make us all look bad. The fact that you're DMing these women, you're like, hey, like, you're so sexy, blah blah blah, every single day. It's multiple women that you're saying the same thing to, that you're pretty much copying and pasting your responses to. And the fact that like you don't get a response, but you continue going, something about that is insane to me. And I feel like eventually they get to the point where they break these girls down and she's finally like, fine, I'll talk to you. Oh my God. And then it ends up working in his favor like once. And now it's like, oh, it's worked before. I ain't gonna stop till it works.
You know, it must work enough that this many of them do it, because it's absolutely insane and it's embarrassing. And like, so then I'm pretty open with stuff, and I have these conversations pretty frequently where I'm like, what is it exactly that they think is gonna come of like that kind of an interaction? Like, if you do get a response, you're not gonna get somebody of high value.
Why?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Why would I like respond to you saying some crazy shit like, oh my God, like, thank you for the attention.
Right. So like, you're not going to get somebody of high value. And if that's not what you want, then cool. But maybe know your audience, know who you're talking to, know who you're a part of. It's just, it's insane. It is insane. The other one that has crept in a lot have been the guys who are clearly in a relationship. They, even their profile pictures of them with their wife or their girlfriend, and then they still like message. And I'm like, you're a bitch. You're a bitch.
Some more DMs and stuff.
And so, what is it called? One, I could tell it was like so blatant. Like, I'll show you the profile picture. As soon as I saw it, I was like, this dude he's in a relationship. And so then I went to go look at his profile. Sure as shit. And then I was like, you know what? No, fuck that. Like, I'm not going to be the girl who's just like, oh, this is funny. It's cute. You know, whatever. So clearly he's in a relationship.
They got matching shirts on.
Yeah, clearly. So then you go onto his profile. It's not hidden. And she's, you know, posting messages to him. I love you, baby. You're the best.
He's really pretty, actually.
Yeah, this and that, blah, blah, blah. He looks like a blob. And so then I literally was like, because he was messaging me and I was ignoring him. And then when I saw that picture and I went and looked at the profile, I was like, this bitch is married. And so then I sent him a message and I was like, you're not sliding up in my DMs with a wife. Like, are you serious? He never responded to that. So then I found her body armor. I found her and messaged her and I was like, you maybe don't care. I was like, but I just want to let you know, like, your husband is in my DMs. And she was just like, thank you. She was really sweet. She's like, thank you so much. I was like, I can send you the screenshots. I was like, I have not had a conversation with him other than saying, like, you're not seriously sliding up into my DMs. You're a married man. And she's just like, he's been doing stuff like this for a while. She goes, I just haven't been able to catch him. And I was like, I'll send you the messages. And I did. And she's like, thank you so much. And I was like, you're welcome. Yeah, I was like, you're welcome. But I mean, that's bold. That's a whole other level of bold. That it's like, I can see a guy who, like my ex, who was just like, oh, I don't post anything on social media because kings don't share their riches with the world because then people want to steal them. No, bitch, you were just cheating and you were trying to keep yourself clean.
So
that wasn't it. It wasn't about riches. It was about you protecting yourself.
About bitches.
It was not about riches. It was about bitches, and he's the biggest bitch I know. But yeah, I mean, that type of thing where it's like, oh, he's single, he's been single and blah, 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 and this and that. Oh, I haven't changed it since I was married. Bitch, no, you literally are using it to do what you want. But this dude, I mean, at least in that sense, it's like, you have enough sense to like keep yourself single on there. This dude's a whole married ass man. And there's a lot of people like that. So I'm just like, I don't know. I think it's a little bit disappointing. Crazy. Yeah, it's crazy and it's disappointing. I think it puts a lot more value for me on the people who have honor, who have respect, who have self-control, who have a sense of, you know, who have a fucking moral compass. Because people just don't have that shit anymore.
They really don't. It's kind of scary.
It is. And it's like, it's the whole idea of, you know, and I think about this too. I'm like, can you imagine any girl who would try and have an actual conversation with that guy, Christopher? Can you imagine what his temper is in person or in a relationship? He's already talking shit to me and like incessantly send me picture and video and like message after message after message and no response. And then he attacks me. Like, you're in a relationship with somebody. How the fuck is that going to turn out? That shit, that's where that's scary.
And that's what I was talking to you about yesterday, is the fact that like, I can only as a man sympathize with what a woman must be going through in a situation like that.
How do women come at you guys in the messages?
I feel like
have you had weird shit like that?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the weirdest ones that I've had. Sorry. Oh God. Whew. I was so hot. Now I'm cooling down. I'm like, oh, I'm starting to get comfortable and tired. But the worst things that I've had is the fact that it's like, just because I have a conversation with you doesn't mean that I'm interested in you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, unless I'm actively flirting with you and actively like telling you that this is going to be a thing, that's not like, that doesn't give you the room to like flirt with me and say something crazy. Like, it's never as dramatic, or at least in my experience, I've never had it be as dramatic from a woman as like women get it from men.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been like shit like that. Like, if you've invited me to your house more than once and I'm not flirting with you, I've never said that I was going to come over, and you keep inviting me, that's weird. Why? Especially because on my end, it's like I keep saying, you don't know that I'm not crazy or weird. Why do you keep inviting me to your house? Like,
Yeah.
obviously, the people I feel this way about are women that I don't know you like that. Why do
Right.
you want me to? Why do you want to be in this sort of situation
Right.
with me? That's weird. Like, I understand that I wouldn't do anything crazy, but you don't know that. You don't know me.
Yeah.
I'm a stranger to you.
Right.
Didn't you learn anything when you were in school and they said stranger danger? Like dead ass.
I don't think people believe in that anymore.
They don't, especially with social media, because you can talk to anybody from anywhere
Yep.
about anything.
And because you end up spending so much time talking to them, you think you actually know them.
Mhm.
And so they build this level of comfort that is built on bullshit.
Mhm.
It's like, you don't know them. The amount of people who are like, I've been in a relationship for 3 years, and I'm like, oh, how's that going? Oh, it's good. I've never met them.
See, okay, that's funny to me too, because when we were in Vegas, because you know how when you're in a hotel and the same things play on the TV like over and over again, it's almost like more than if you were at home. It feels like there was Catfish playing on the TV at the hotel, and my mom and I, we love that show. We think it's like just so interesting, because it's crazy to think like the same things. Like, yeah, I've been talking to Stephanie for 3 years. We're in a relationship. I think I love her. I really want to marry her.
Her FaceTime is broken always.
Her FaceTime is broken all the time. She says her phone is broken, yet we're texting all the time. So I've never heard her voice. And then 9 times out of 10, it's never who they say it's going to be. It's either like a man pretending, like if it's a man that's like going to Catfish with like, I need help. It's either 9 times out of 10, it's a man. It's a woman who looks nothing like her pictures, or it's a woman trying to scam you.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing that's crazy to me. And then you have the show, like 90 Day Fiance, or I think it's 90 Day Fiance, the ones where they meet online and they are who they say they're going to be. It's just a lot of the time their intentions aren't pure. It's like, I just want to come to America. You have a lot of money. On the guy's end, he really is only attracted to this woman for her looks.
Yeah.
And then
or it's like on the other side of that, he would never be able to get somebody like that if it wasn't for the fact that she was undocumented and needed money.
Exactly.
That's
that's
not
the thing that's crazy to me. That's why this whole social media shit is insane. I love and hate social media so much. Like, there's so many. I love the same things. Like, I love that you can connect with anybody. Like, especially the thing that I always go to when I talk about that point is during COVID, like the pandemic. When we were on lockdown, like video, like talking to people on video games and on the comments of some of these videos and these live streams that were going on, like even verses, like sometimes you see the same people in verses all the time and you're talking to each other in the comments. That was pretty cool. Or I used to use my VR headset and I would play this game called VR Chat. And the main thing to the game is you just go in there's like hundreds of different rooms that you can visit. It's almost like chat rooms, except you're in person. It's like if I had VR goggles on and we were in this room right now, like people even do podcasts from VR Chat. But it's with people that they've never met before. That's the thing that's crazy. It's like, I think that's cool because of the different, like, you can hear perspectives that you would have never heard.
Right.
You can get experiences maybe that you've never heard, or connect with people that you may not have met, like, I don't know, like 2 decades ago when social media was non-existent.
Well, I mean, you think about like people that you meet even like through dating apps. Like, there's some people that
don't
like
even get me started on that shit.
There's some people that I've connected with that I'm like, in the normal world, like I would not have crossed paths with them. Like that would not have happened. I think that, I don't know, one of the things I was telling Aaron, we were talking about just like people's value and how they hold the value they hold for themselves. And I told him that through therapy, one of the things that I learned the most is that we tend to tolerate things from people who we allow to assign value to us.
Okay.
And so the best example I gave to that was with my ex. He assigned a certain value to me. And at first that value was really, really high. And he had like this, I was on a pedestal and I was this and I was that and blah, 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 and all these great things. And eventually, it became less of an us thing and more of a me versus him thing. And so he became set in competition with me because one of the very last things he said to me was, you're better looking than me. You dress better than me. You're smarter than me. You're more successful than me. He gave me this whole long old list of things that were like, he was like, you're going to change the world. He goes, but, and I was like, no, there's no fucking but there. It's a period. End it there. Like, you're not adding your bullshit into it. And that's when I realized, like, he was in competition with me. He wasn't in it with me to be like, we're working as a team. He was looking at me as like, he wanted to be better than me.
Exactly.
And the problem is that I allowed the value he had assigned to me to be the same value I kept for myself. And so, like, I was telling Aaron, I was like, that's like walking up to a car dealership and you're like, oh shit, that Camaro's really nice. Like, that thing is awesome. And the salesman comes out and it's like, well, how much do you think it's worth? And you're like, $12. And they're like, oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead and take it for $12. Well, you're going to treat it like it's a $12 car instead of a $50,000 car or however much it's worth.
That's a good way to put that.
Yeah, I was like, so you are allowing, like, no business in their right mind is going to allow you to assign value to the product that they have. So why do we allow people to assign value to us when we need to walk in and say, no, this is what I'm worth. And if you can't afford this, because my ex could not afford what I brought to the relationship. He couldn't afford that. Somebody else made a really good statement. They were like, he wasn't ready for what he thought he wanted. He wasn't ready for the life he wanted to live. Well, that's true, because he wanted to have a girlfriend and he wanted to have someone who was loving and kind and successful and godly, but he wasn't ready to give up all the hoes and all the lies and all the bullshit and all the drama behind it. He likes that life more than what he likes the idea of having a committed, loving relationship. But the reason why I stayed, because of the whole, brainwashing and the narcissism and the CPTSD and all that other bullshit, not really understanding what was happening, but also because my value was tied to what he saw me as, not what I saw myself as. So now I look back and I'm like, the fuck was wrong with me? But that's, I think, the problem with most people. And that's why, like, people end up in these situations where they're like, oh, I've never met them, but they tell me I'm beautiful, I'm this, I'm that. Those are words. That's all that is. So your value is not worth more than a couple of words?
Especially because it's like, you can say that all day, but if you're not doing something to show the person that, then what the fuck? What are we doing here? It's the same thing. Like, even when you do see the person all the time, it's like, if all you're doing is saying these things and you're never like proving it, then what the hell? What are we doing?
Right. Well, and it's nice to hear those things, but I've always said, I'm like, it's not that I don't like being complimented. That's not it. I don't want to sound ungrateful about that. I want genuine compliments. I want the person who literally will say to me, hey, I know that you worked hard on this, this, and this, or I know that you have a good heart because I know that you were involved in this situation, or you did this for this person.
Not just like, you look good.
Exactly. Because, I mean, let's be real. Like, I know some very attractive people who have the ugliest souls I've ever known in my life. And I mean, I know some very ugly people who have horrible souls too. It's just, but the point is that if we were to just look at the outside, then man, you would
some very ugly people who have horrible souls.
They do.
Too. There's a lot of people who have bad energy. Dude.
I always joke around about this, but I'm like, there's nothing worse than being done dirty by somebody who's ugly. It's like, I let a medium ugly person do me dirty like that. Like, the fuck is wrong with me?
Like, I should have more worth.
Well, no, and truthfully, like, that's what it is. It's like, you have to know what you're worth. And if you don't, you're going to accept bullshit that is not for you. You're going to accept the things that are not for you. And that's why I think it's important to have people around you who can see what you're doing and be like, hey, like, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't look right. This doesn't seem right. Like, why are you tolerating that? Because isolation, we know, is from the enemy. Like, what happens when you're by yourself? It's your voice and who else's voice is there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not typically a good voice.
No.
It's typically a dark voice that is telling you you're not good enough. You have no friends. Nobody likes you. You're never going to achieve anything. You're so far behind in life. You haven't done anything worth of value. You're just sitting there. Look, I'm sitting here for an hour. No one's texted me. No one's called me. So isolation.
That used to be a big one for me.
Yeah.
Especially during COVID. Like, that's really when that shit set in. I was like, I really don't fucking have friends. Like, that shit.
Yeah.
When it's like, no, it's just people have things going on.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many different circumstances that factor into things like that. But that shit is scary.
But when you hear that voice, and that is the strongest voice over and over and over and over again, that's where depression comes in. That's where anxiety comes in. And they say anxiety comes from worrying about the future, and depression comes from worrying about the past. We can't control either of those. The past already happened. The future, we don't know where the hell we're going to be even tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, even
like an hour from now.
Yeah, right. Like, you just don't know what that's going to look like. And so it's like, once you give that up and give up that trying to have that control, your life becomes so much more peaceful, because you're like, you know what? I can't change what happened in the past. I can't control what's happening in the future. So I'm just going to enjoy life where it is now. I'm just going to be in the moment, be grateful for the people I have in my life. Is it perfect? No, it's not. Life is never going to be perfect. But once you start to see the blessings in things and you start to see the goodness in things, that's when you can be like, oh, okay, you know what? I can move forward from this with less anger, less hate, less resentment, less fear. And then eventually you get to the point where you're just like, for me, obviously my trust is in God. It's always going to be, always has been. It's never been as strong as it is now. But the peace I have found in it is insane. It's insane. I'm like, after everything that I've been through, it's crazy. I mean, I think I told you about my brother and the situation with the wedding.
Oh, yeah. Well, you told me about it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
If anything changed with that situation.
I mean,
are you going?
No, it already happened.
Oh, that's crazy.
It already happened. And so, you know, and I bring that up because this is another one of those situations. It's just like, it's crazy. And I know for a fact, I didn't do anything wrong in this situation. Sammy didn't do anything wrong in this situation. I just happen to be unfortunate and have a brother who is a narcissist, who is thinks that the world revolves around him, and that's okay. Like, that's where he is in his life. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like, I know my presence was missed. I know it was. I was told by several people. Several people were pretty offended about the fact that he left out family. I wasn't the only family that was left out.
Really?
Yeah. Her mom wasn't allowed at the wedding either.
So
what they're doing is that they're building walls to keep people out, but all they're doing is they're building a wall to imprison themselves into.
Burning bridges.
Because how are you that insecure about your life that you're so afraid that someone's going to take the person that you're so deeply in love with? Both of you are. Like,
which, like, why?
It's embarrassing, right? Like, no, I'm sorry, but nobody wants either one of you. You are lucky you have each other, but nobody wants either one of you. And like, I tell people, I'm like, I love and have love for them. I wish them well, but I'm no longer going to keep my mouth shut about the shit that has happened. Like, I'm done with it.
That's the only reason I looked at you like that. I was like, you sure you want to talk about this?
Yeah, that's where the real raw and random shit comes in, because the reality is that he has this little persona. Like, I've been thinking about it for a while, and there was a thing that I heard, and it said, for the longest time, I would not bring things up or shed light on them because I was trying to keep peace. I was trying to maintain peace. Until I realized that the only peace I was keeping was theirs. Because
it's still affecting you.
Yeah. Because I have allowed certain people and the shit that they've done to me get away with it. Because I didn't say anything. I was like, God's got me, and he does. But guess what? At the end of the day, like, this happened. It's the reality of it. And they can get mad. Whoever wants to get mad. I mean, I've had plenty of people upset at me lately, and I just really don't care. I'm in my I don't give a fuck stage in life at this point, because I'm like, I did absolutely nothing. And we can go into detail about it at a different point. But the way that he spoke to me, the way he spoke to Sammy, like, it's It's such
It's
a
not
disgusting
cool.
example of a human.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I've had so many people who are like, Susan, like if he can't see the value you bring to people's lives, like you're so much fun, you're so loving, you're so kind, you're this, you're that. I'm like, but it's not for me to show people that. If my own brother can't see it, then he doesn't need to be in my life. And that's true for anyone else. You know what I mean? If what I bring to the table isn't enough for you, then let me be. Like, move on.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of people who love me and who I love and who I, will get whatever I need from in life. But in that circumstance, I'm like, you literally like had this huge elaborate wedding and your sister and your nephew who this time last year, I was his best friend. You know what I mean? And so it's
When
like,
y'all were doing stuff to help.
and it's like, and you're going to throw such a massive tantrum over such a simple fucking thing and then leave your family out of it. Like, you're a disgusting human. You're a disgusting human. And there's so much other shit that he has done that I can literally like, I don't know. I've had this conversation a couple of times where it's like, why are you keeping your mouth shut on this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah, let's just say it. Let's put it out in the
Yeah,
open.
it's like, I don't know why, because I think about all the time when, what's the saying that all that good bad needs to win is for good to stand by and do nothing.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like I have kept a lot of secrets for a lot of people for a long time. And at this point in my life, I'm like, you know what? You're going to fuck with me. It's not going to go well for anybody who's like messing with me or trying to mess with me. And so in this situation, I'm like, he made it very clear in front of everyone. He didn't invite me. I wasn't a part of the wedding. People were asking. So if I talk about it publicly, he did it publicly.
Mm-hmm.
I got cheated on publicly. You don't want to be talked about? Don't be a hoe.
Yeah, don't
be a lying ass bitch. Like, it's as simple as that. And you know what? The amount of peace that comes with it, like, I'm not trying to start fires. I'm not trying to start shit. I just think it's time for me to be able to share my full story without being like, oh, I have to hide it, or I have to this, or I have to that.
Because all that's doing is weighing on you, like you just said.
But it's also not fair, because then people are like, you didn't go to your brother's wedding? No, I was disinvited because the man is a whiny little bitch.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I didn't go to the wedding. Not because I didn't want to. It's because, and to me, it's God's protection. But it's like, I was not invited because I posed some kind of a threat to them. Whatever that is. Like, you're that insecure. That's embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
That's embarrassing. You want to throw a tantrum and call your nephew all these names, and you're afraid because you're dating or marrying somebody who's more than half your age. You're a fucking grown ass man. You're older than her parents, and you're marrying this young child. God bless you.
Let's talk about that real quick. That seems to be very like, I'm trying to figure out how to explain the situation that I don't want to talk about without giving too much detail. But I know someone who is messing around with someone that's like twice their age, and that person that.
Which one's the younger one? Or I guess I'm assuming it's
the
a male,
person
female.
She's younger.
Okay.
He's older. He's also married.
Oof. Yikes.
That came out in a conversation that the two of us were having. And I was like, wow, that is insane. Because the thing that I feel like I've noticed in my life is I've always been told things that I shouldn't know.
Me too. You're like, I don't really want to know that.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you're like, shit.
In my work life, when I was in high school, like I would have teachers tell me shit that I shouldn't know. I have coworkers tell me things that I shouldn't know. Like bosses tell me things that are none of my business. Friends, like
I think it's because you have an old soul.
Which is nice, and that's nice to hear, and I appreciate it.
It's nice, but I don't want to know this shit.
But holy shit, like,
what did you say?
What did I say? I was just asking questions. I think you do that too. When someone tells you like something that you don't want to know, you just like.
Were you like, so what does it feel like to be a whore?
Pretty much. Like, what does it feel like to be a homewrecker?
Shit.
Because I was asking, I was like, so does his wife know? How old are you again? These are questions I asked. Does his wife know? How old are you again? Okay. So how do you feel about that though? Do you think it's going to lead to more? Are you, and then obviously the answer is like, it probably can't. And I'm
won't.
Like, well, are you okay with that? Not really, but I'm just dealing with it. It's like, okay, let's let's back up a little bit. Why then? Why participate in something like this if you number one, you know it's not going to lead to anything. Number two, you know that all you're doing is causing yourself drama and you're causing that woman drama. Fuck him. He's not like,
he's a bitch.
and it's the same thing if the roles are reversed. Like if you're a man and you're dating or talking to or whatever, a woman that is married, or in a relationship even, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. It's like, well, all you're doing is causing yourself trouble and that other person, the person in the middle that's dating the two of you, that's like talking to you, whatever, they're just living, they're having their cake and eat it too. And the age aspect of it, with going back to that point, is so crazy to me, because that's when it gets to the point, it's like you're really being manipulated. Like, this person has more experience than you. They have probably been in this situation more times before, so they have the experience of like, this is how I lost my side chick the first time. Now this new side chick, I know what not to do to lose her.
Right.
Or the same thing with my wife. Like, okay, here's how she found out the first time. I know how she found out. I ain't gonna do that shit again. Like, that's the older woman, older man thing seems to be very popular now. We may have talked about this before. I can't remember if it was on the podcast or not. But the fact that like it seems cool when it's an older woman and a younger man. Like, Cher's boyfriend is like my age, and she's like 70 something.
Yeah, she's old as fuck.
Hey,
she's old as fuck.
Yeah, I gotta look it up now. But it's crazy to me. I just don't get it. And it's the same thing. Like, bringing it. We talked about Diddy for a long time last episode, but him in Young Miami, Carisha, like, she's also my age, and he's like 50 something. That's weird.
So, what do you think is an acceptable age gap?
That's a great question. I think that's a complicated question for me to answer. Because I think it depends on when the age gap is. Like, for example, when you're a senior in high school, let me flip that a little bit. When you're a freshman in high school and you're dating a senior,
sounds pervy.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But
weird.
It's only like maybe 4 years,
if that.
Maybe.
Yeah. But it just seems like such a discrepancy, because freshmen seem like babies in comparison to seniors.
Exactly. So that's why I say it depends, because it depends on what stage of your life that you're in. Because like you said, I'm a freshman. I just got out of middle school. I am a senior.
Oh God, when you put it that way.
Exactly. I just got out of middle school. This is my first year of high school ever. I am making the most mistakes probably that I will while I'm in high school, because this is such a new environment for me. Like, I can share a story about that, like my experience as a freshman, because I just remember being so like, oh my God,
overwhelmed.
This is crazy. Yeah. Like, my freshman year didn't go well. Like, I was just like so excited to be in high school and to be like growing up. And it just, like, my grades fell to the wayside. I was too focused on being out everywhere. Like, I was too focused on friends and girls. That was it. But going back to the point that I was making, but if you're like 20 something, like, I'm 23, right? I just turned 23, which is crazy to say. I'm like, am I
old ass?
How old I am? I'm 23.
Old ass.
If I were dating somebody that's like, I don't know, like 30, it would be kind of weird, but at the same time, it's like, we're both adults. Like, we've both been out in the world for a long time, or not a long time, but we've both been out in the world for a while. Like, we both have experiences. For me, it's different, like, because the person I'm dating now, we're the same age. She's like months older than me, so I'm not talking as if I date older women all the time. But for me personally, if I were in that situation, I have the experience of, I just feel more mature than most people my age, which is sometimes a cringy thing to say, but it's true. Like, I've taken on more responsibility when I was 18 than a lot of other people my age at the
Right.
time. I take on more responsibility now as a 23-year-old than a lot of people who are 23-year-olds that I see.
Yeah.
I have more like adult aspirations than some of the people my age. Like I think my dreams, I've told you about this. Like
Mhm.
my dreams are like to own land and to fucking make enough money that my family's comfortable, that I can
Right.
raise kids, and then my kids are comfortable.
Right.
Like
Build some generational wealth.
exactly. But there's people my age that are like, they get drunk every weekend, they get high every weekend, which is like, it's cool, like to have fun. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like choosing not to have fun, but it's the same thing as like, I know that there's a balance. My struggle in life always is because I'm always seeking to find the balance. And a lot of the time you can't, but I am truly like looking for that balance because I know how complicated life is. Like
Right.
it's not black or white. So like, long story, I made that answer longer than it should have been, but I just think it genuinely depends. Like 4 years, if you're 4 years difference, if you're in high school, that's fucking weird. 4 years different. Like if I was dating someone that's 4 years older than me now, no one would care.
True. Well, and there is a numerical value that they've assigned to what they consider to be acceptable. So it's supposed to be half your age plus 2 or plus 3. I don't remember the exact number, but I mean, if you looked at it in those terms, I mean,
crazy.
I think it'd be a 14-year-old.
Yeah, like if the age I am,
44.
huh?
So it's 22
44. Oh wait, 22 plus what?
plus
3.
I'm not dating no 25-year-old. I don't think that's right. But okay, but I guess, and Aaron and I had this conversation because like he's talking to somebody who's 14 years older than him.
Whoa.
Yeah, Tyler is, I think, I want to say Lars like 13 years older than him, 12 or 13 years older than him.
Okay.
I tend to date guys that are younger than me.
But not that much younger than you.
Well, no, yeah.
It's different for you to, not to cut you off, but it's different for you too because you're a teacher, or because you were a teacher. So you find that weirder than most people. You know what I mean?
But see, I don't think it's weird. Like to me, like there's a certain point where I'm just gonna be like, okay, I'm not dating a 21-year-old. I'm not dating, like, you're 23, you're a baby still to me. Like there's so much still to learn. But like I just tend to get along with people who are younger because I do have a younger personality. Like that's just where like my brain is. You know what I mean?
Your age plus 7.
Is it 7?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was 7 at first. So I'd be shit. There's some people I shouldn't have been talking to.
29.
Okay, so I'm good. But so okay, so like I'd be fine with dating a 29-year-old. Like that would not be an issue for me. Once it starts getting younger than that, like truthfully, like there was, how old was he?
27.
Like, no, he was 26. And I was just like, he had come up to me. I think we were at Co-Addy and he'd come up to me and he's just like, can I buy you a drink? He was really nice. And these days, sometimes you can't tell.
How old people are?
You can't. Cause you're just like,
I get that a lot.
Yeah. Like where you're like, either they look older or they look younger and you're like, what the hell? And so, like I didn't know how old he was and he's like, can I buy you a drink? And I was like, no, I'm good. Like I'm getting ready to leave, whatever. And he said he was 26 and I was like, that's the age of my son. That's the age of my child.
Okay. That's the other thing that factors into it too, is the fact that like the age different, it's just different for everybody. The fact that you have a son that's this age, like as opposed to another woman your age.
Sammy wouldn't care. He has said to me plenty of times, he goes, I don't care how old the person is that you date.
As long as
as long as they're good to you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think at some point, if I'm like, here's my boyfriend, he's the same age as my son, that's kind of weird, you know? But I mean, and I guess to be fair, I had him when I was pretty young.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't know. Like obviously my ex was a year younger than me and one of the most immature fucking people I've known.
Mm-hmm.
So age to me doesn't dictate your success or your maturity or your character or your like any of that stuff that matters. All it is it's just, I don't want to quote R. Kelly, but we know what age is.
Oh, that's crazy. Oh, that's so funny.
We know what it is, right? But the reality is that I know people who are, 13, 14 years younger than me, who are more successful, more like intelligent, more stable than people my age or people older.
Mm-hmm.
I dated one person who was older than me. He was 8 years older than me, and I didn't like it.
It was boring, huh?
It was boring. I was just like, and I mean, there are things that I was just like, okay, like I have a very youthful personality. I like to have fun. I like to laugh about things.
Mm-hmm.
And there were things that I would like joke about, and he'd be like, that's not funny. And I'm like, oh, you're so boring. Yeah, like you're so boring. Funny. Or, like, I don't know. It felt different. And that was the only situation I was in where I was like, I recognize the age difference when I'm dating. And maybe the people I've dated that were younger than me have been like, oh shit, I feel the age difference, but like they never said anything. But with that guy who I dated who was 8 years older than me, I was like, ew, you're like, you're older, but you act older. And then as we got older, he looked older. So I was just like, and if he had been a good person, I'm sure things would have been different, but like,
he wasn't.
No. And so at the same time, I was just like, okay, I just don't know. So a lot of the people that I know are dating either someone who's older than them or someone who's and not just by a couple years, but I'm talking about like significant. So like, I mean, we're talking 13 years, 14 years, 12 years, 11 years, 13 years. Like and these are like pretty good, successful relationships. So I'm like, I get it. I guess going back to the situation with my brother, I mean, she's a baby in comparison, and I'm like, you're getting someone like fresh out of high school,
which is fucking weird.
Yeah. And it's like, she hasn't had a chance to like,
that just came out,
go to college or to like really experience, these things. And so he's trying to experience all this stuff with her now so that she doesn't miss out. But I'm like, you're damn near 50.
So yeah, that's crazy. Speaking of which, I just had because okay, long story short, I'm really talking to them and not you as much because we've already talked about this. But long story short, the format that we've talked about going in as far as this podcast is concerned is separating it out mainly into 3 kind of like segments, chapters, parts, whatever you want to call it. It usually happens naturally. We're not pressed to do it.
Yeah.
But it's the thing that I was thinking about was the fact that the name of this podcast is Real, Raw, and Random. And progressively, I would like the conversation to shift into different things. Like last episode, for example, at the end of the episode, we read Reddit stories.
Those were funny.
It was really funny. I enjoyed it. The only thing that that didn't fulfill me as much in part of that episode as it would have was the fact that the audio was off.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. But that episode was a really great episode. That's why we posted it anyway. This conversation, what we're talking about, I think it's funny for the random part because it's going real, like what really happened in the world this week, what's really going on with us. The raw part is the deeper conversation that we're having. It just happens. That's really how our conversations go, is the fact that we kind of will start talking about a few different things. And it's like, you know what, let's stay on this for a minute. Let's get into like the meat and potatoes of the situation.
That sounds good.
And then it's so fucking good, right? Steak and potatoes.
Good.
And then the random part, which would be the last part, is to leave y'all off on a not like, because sometimes the raw conversations that we have can get a little bit dark, or it can get a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Or it can get a little bit, maybe even too personal for one of us. But
that's the point of it.
That is the point of it.
I mean, because when I was talking about my brother, you kind of gave me that look like...
You're like, are you sure you want to talk about this?
Yes, I do.
And I would like to leave y'all off with the randomness of it all. Like, I want you to take in what we just talked about, the deeper conversations that we had, but let's have some fun right before we get to the next episode. So in talking about the whole age gap thing, I found an article that is detailing celebrity age gaps. And I would like for you to guess how old, like how far of a difference that you think it is.
The age gap?
Mhm.
Okay.
So I am, the way that I'm thinking, oh shit. Sorry. I know that it's still recording, but okay, there we go. Now I can hear you again. So the way that I'm going to do this is, if you don't know the celebrity couple, I have one tab open with the article that has the information on it.
Okay.
And I have another empty tab that if I need to show you a picture, I can show you a picture of the two of them without giving away the part of the article.
Okay.
So we're going to start. It says 40. We don't have to do 40, but I'm just going to start with George Clooney and Amal Clooney, his wife. Do you know those two?
Yes.
How you know what Amal Clooney looks like?
Yes.
Okay. So how far apart in age do you think the two of them are? This is going to be funny.
They're about 28 years apart.
What? What'd you say?
28?
No. I'll give you one more chance and then we'll move on. Then I'll tell you. Less.
Less?
Mm-hmm.
14.
17.
Oh, okay.
Which is a lot, but like at the time of this article, he is 52 and she's 35.
Okay.
So like, that sounds crazy, but I don't know.
It's not terrible.
I don't know what to think about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not terrible.
Okay. So Leonardo DiCaprio, and her name is Camilla Morone.
He's married?
He's probably not married to her. I think it's just a relationship.
Well, this one's going to be a pretty good age difference. I'm going to say 20 years.
Okay. 20 years?
Yeah.
Final answer?
Yeah.
23.
Oh, okay.
Which is crazy to me. See, and that's when, like, the more you talk about these age differences, the more that it can get weird, because you're like, when you were 23 years old, your girlfriend was born. That's the weird part. You know what I mean?
Well, even weirder, though, is the fact that, let's be real, like, men and women mature differently, age-wise. So I think that most men do not come across. Yeah, I can see that. She looks better with darker hair. She looks very basic with her blonde hair.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Yeah. Women mature faster than men, so I can kind of see that. But like, I don't know. Still, like, the idea of being in your 40s and 50s and dating somebody who's 22, 23, that's insane. It's insane. Because, I mean, shit, I didn't know shit about. I was a mom by then, obviously, but like, there was so much in life I still didn't know.
At what age now?
In my 20s.
Oh, at like 23.
There's still shit
crazy.
There's still shit I don't know now. Where I'm like, fuck.
Okay, I'm trying to find. Ooh, this is a good one.
Oh god.
Ellen and her wife. So Ellen and Portia.
They're like 12 years apart.
Final answer?
Yeah.
15.
Okay.
Which I didn't know that at all. I would have never guessed that. I see this when this article gets a little bit weird, because I know for a fact some of these couples aren't together anymore. Because Adam Levine, I swear he got a divorce, right?
Probably.
He was cheating on her.
Yeah,
do you remember when that happened?
Say he seems like he was doing some dirty shit.
He was in some girl's DMs. I remember it. I just can't remember if they divorced or not, but I'm pretty sure they did. Oh, this is a really good one. Okay. Did you know Catherine Zeta-Jones' husband? You know
Michael Douglas?
Yeah, okay, so you knew that
he's
they were
old
married.
As fuck.
So how far apart do you think they are?
About 22 years.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
I'll give you another chance to change it.
25 years.
25 years, yep.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. I knew there was a big age gap.
Okay.
He looks old as fuck.
So, this one, Dennis Quaid. You know Dennis Quaid, right? Do you know who he's married to? This is going to be a good one.
Didn't he have a kid with Meg Ryan?
Maybe. I barely know who Dennis Quaid is. Let me. Oh yeah, probably. Hold on. Let me pull the name up. Her name is Laura, like Savoy.
No, I don't know her.
Okay, let me show you a picture of them on their wedding day. So this is from People magazine. Take that picture in.
Okay.
The audience is seeing the picture also.
Jeez. Okay.
Okay. So, what do you think the age gap is?
30 years?
Final answer?
Mm-hmm.
39.
Oh my shit.
39 years old.
How old is she? She's in her 20s, right?
I can't tell. I gotta look it up. Hold on. That'll be easy to look up. Which is also that's the reason why I've been having. Oh no, this isn't her. What the? Oh wait, who is this? Who is that? Is that the person you're talking about? Like, did he have a baby with so and so?
No, because they put her there because she was in the movie
Parent Trap.
Parent Trap, yeah. With him, but no, that's not her.
Oh, I was like, what the hell?
Because she's definitely older than in her 20s.
Yeah, I'm like, those are two different people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Both blondes, but different blondes.
She's not famous, so it's kind of hard to find. But he's 70 and she's 39.
Okay.
That's crazy, man. That is insane.
Well, who was it? Is it Robert De Niro that had a baby, or no?
Ooh, yeah, it was. It was Robert
was
De Niro. Mm-hmm.
And he's old as shit.
Yeah, Robert De Niro. Age gap. Yep, I'm gonna look that one up, and then that'll be the last one. I just find that funny. I just think that's hilarious, and obviously, like, I don't know. I'm not judging.
No, and neither do I. Like, if to me, I'm like, all right, if you find love in whatever realm, good on you. Like, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. And I'm never gonna be one to hate. Like I said, I tend to date younger. It's just kind of what has happened. The energy just kind of matches better, but there's just something about, I guess, I think about like the girls, like Jalen and Millie.
Okay.
And Jalen's about to be 20 in August. And Millie just turned 19. And so I'm picturing them here. Let's just picture Jalen here in, let's say, 2 years. And she starts dating a guy who's like 48.
Wouldn't that piss you off a little bit?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that's where it kind of comes from for me, where I'm like, or like, if you and Sammy in your early 20s are all like, well, I'm dating this woman who's almost 50. Fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I guess those are the things that I think about, where I'm like, you guys still have so much to learn, and you don't even know that you have that much to learn because you guys are in the middle of it. You know what I mean? And so, like, I don't know. I get it. I get why people are drawn to it, and I get the appeal, but man, the longevity of dating as someone who's 23 years old, 22, 21, and you're almost 50? Fuck.
It's weird.
Because I think about how much I changed from even the time, and granted, my story was different because I was a mom, and I've always made sure that I was a mom before I was a 20-year-old or a 30-year-old. Like, I've always been a mom first. Mm-hmm. So that always took precedence for me. But even in that, I think about 21-year-old me as a mom who had maybe more adult experience than others because of my crazy family and because I was in a, shitty relationship, and I was a mom and taking care of my son. Even in that, there was so much shit I did not know. Mm-hmm. There was still so much living I had to do. And 22, 21, 22, 23-year-old me versus 44-year-old me now. Holy shit. That's a very different person. The amount of things I've experienced, the life I've had up until this point that has led me to have the understanding and the growth that I'm still having, that I'm still going through. But you're going to tell me that at that age, you are limiting yourself to somebody who has double lived your life?
Who's double lived your life, who has less time ahead of them than you do. Like, at 20 years old, and which is crazy for me to say because I'm only 23, but I realize, like, in my 20s, you have so much life ahead of you. You have, like, so much The possibilities are endless. You have so much life to live.
And not to say that you can't do that with somebody older than you, but
it's harder, I think.
You would start to be like, well, shit, I'm 22. He's almost 50. I don't want to have kids yet because I'm 22.
He's going to leave you by yourself with them fucking kids. The life expectancy of Americans is like...
Right. So, like, all those would be questions that would be like, so then in that instance, are you in it for love or are you in it for money? Are you in it for what's being given to you?
It's harder because, well, I guess in general, because 9 times out of 10, someone in their 40s is going to be in a better financial state than somebody in their 20s, obviously, because you've been building wealth for longer. You've had more experiences, which leads to you being able to get better jobs because you have better experiences, blah, blah, blah. But I think with celebrities, that's why we're so critical of that type of situation, because it's like, that's why they say it's like, you're just in it for the money. Mm-hmm. That's all you care about. You're just in it for Robert De Niro's money, for Dennis Quaid's money.
Okay, but let's be real. If Robert De Niro did not have that money, if he didn't have the dinero, she would not be with him.
Ah, I see what you did there.
She would not. She would not be with him, though. Let's be real. You have some decrepit ass old man like walking around, like he can't. Is he changing the baby's diapers? Is he interacting?
He's not doing anything with the baby.
Can he hold the baby? Or is his back strong enough for that shit? Like, that's just a whole other level of fucking crazy. And like, if you want to live in a delusional world thinking that this young ass female is genuinely 100% in love with you or vice versa, and maybe for some it works. Like I said, no shade, no whatever. If it works, it works. But you're going to tell me that at 22, 23, they know that this is exactly what they want in their life? Like, I don't know. I have a very, very hard time with that. I think the reality of that it working out is a lot less than it falling apart. Because one is growing and the other one's growing older. Mm-hmm. So that's I don't know. Like I said, to each their own, but you can't convince me that it's true love, because if there wasn't celebrity and there wasn't money there, it wouldn't be happening.
I did the money calculator. I mean, not the money calculator, the age calculator, and it says 18. Even at 23, I would, that's so gross.
An 18-year-old?
An 18-year-old, because you either are about to graduate high school or you just graduated high school. Uh-huh. That's gross. I don't like that. I don't like it at all. Yeah, I just find that conversation very interesting because there's so many things that factor into it that it's like different for everybody.
It is. That's why I said if it works, it works. Great. That's awesome. I mean, I don't tend to look at people as far as like their ages go. I mean, clearly, like I spend the majority of my time, I was telling Aaron this, I was like, most of my time is spent with
a 19-year-old and a 20-year-old.
And a 20-year-old and Sammy, who's 26. And, the people I talk to on a daily basis, it's not anybody that's older than 31. You know what I mean? Like, I literally, my day-to-day conversations are with people from the age of literally 19 to 31. And above that, it doesn't really happen. Mm-hmm. And that's just like the world, the realm that and I think my life is a little bit different too, because a lot of people my age have little kids. Or they have kids that they're still having to like take to practice and do this and do that. I don't have that shit. Like my kid's old enough to wipe his own ass. He has been for a long time. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to like be like, oh shit, I have to be home by this time because there's no one there for my kid, or I have to feed them or this or that. When Sammy was younger, my life revolved around him. Mm-hmm. It started and ended with him every single day. Like there was not a day that went by that it wasn't centered around him, as a parent should do. But now that he's older, I'm like, oh, I'm going to go on a work trip. I don't want to come home. It doesn't sound like fun. Let me go down to this state, or let me go here, or let me do this, or let me do that. I don't have to worry about him because he's taking care of himself. Mm-hmm. If I had a little kid, it'd be different. So yeah, my schedule is a little bit different. It's more open. Mm-hmm. So it aligns with with younger people, I guess. I don't know. I just there's just some things that there's some age gaps, like 39 years.
39 years is crazy. When you were 39, your girlfriend was born. Yes.
Like that's just
30 fucking 9.
And then I think about it from this perspective. Like I said, when I think about the girls and I think about like Jalen dating somebody who's almost 50 here in a couple years, I would be like, girl, the fuck are you doing?
And that's the thing too. Like I was telling you this yesterday. And I'm sure they'll watch this and hear me say this. They've never heard me say this before, but you see them more than I do. But like the exposure that I've had to the two of them, I just can't help but feel some sense of like
big brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's certain conversations that we've had with the two of them that I'm like a part of me is like, we're close to the same age, so I think it's like I might think it's funny, or I might be going through something similar.
Yeah.
But on the other side of it, it's like, please, I just want the best for you. Like I just don't want this, and I can't help but think of the two of them. Like if one of them was in a situation like that, I would probably be very angry.
Yeah. Yeah.
With the person.
Oh yeah.
Not with them.
Well, both you and Sammy had the same reaction to the situation Jalen was going through. And like, it's funny because
poor thing,
I think when we were at one of the times we were at Dave and Buster's, something came up about no, it was about some guys or something like that. And I told the girls, I was like, go talk to them. And they just like, she looks at me, she goes, no, I can't. And I go, why? I was like, why are you being weird? And she goes, because it's like, I got my big brothers with me, you and Sammy. She turns around and I was like, well, I mean, yeah, I can see that. She's like, it's like I have my big brothers with me. She's like, I can't do that in front of them. I was like, okay.
And that's the thing. That's why I'm like, it's such a complicated feeling that I don't think I've ever felt before. This kind of itches. It's starting to set in.
You could go like itching. This. Yeah. Jalen would go like this.
That's what I did with this one. I just got new tattoos and one of them's really itching. It just like hit me all of a sudden. I'm like, I want to scratch it. But yeah, that's such a complicated feeling because, like I said, like a part of me, it's like the young person in me wants to be like, yeah, go ahead, like, do fun. Dude, like that's fun. Like we're young, let's have fun. We're young,
yeah,
let's have fun. But on the opposite end, it's like, oh my god,
I know.
Don't talk to strangers.
But it's because I think. Because you and Sammy understand the guy side of it. Mm-hmm. And I have had a very unique experience lately in where I have gotten to see in one situation, I've gotten to see the guy side of it and the girl side of it. And the situation was tied. So it was, it was like, I was talking to both sides of it. And this shit happens to me, not frequently, but enough that I'm like, oh,
that's shit. The craziest that's happened to you.
Yeah.
Before,
and so I'm like, well, but I mean, again, like how you said, like I get told shit sometimes and I'm like, I don't really want to know that. But then I've been told that. And so I'm watching both sides of this. And typically, like clearly, I understand the girl side of it because I'm a female. But the guy side of it, and I think I told you this before, like I never really understood how much more pressure guys have on making it happen, like letting the girl know, hey, I'm ready for a relationship. Because it's the guy who guides that shit. Scary. You know what I mean? And it's like, for the guy, it's rejection, but at the same time, it's like, you know what? We have such a short amount of time on this earth. It goes so fucking fast that if you don't say what is on your heart and what you mean, then you'll regret it. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, because I always hear, well, if I say it, I could mess it up. And I'm like, we know that anything that God has for you, you can't mess it up. Exactly. If it's meant for you, it's going to be for you. But if you keep your mouth shut and you never say what is on your heart,
it's just going to eat up.
I was like, it's going to stay with you. And then what? Then you're going to regret the fact that you didn't say it. So I'm listening to both sides of this situation. Both of them are literally asking the exact same questions,
which is so crazy.
Right. But I didn't know guys thought this way. Mm-hmm. So it was like, you know, she's like, well, he texted me 5 minutes ago, so and it took him 15 minutes to respond, so I'm going to take 15 minutes. I go, don't do that bullshit. Don't do that bullshit. Like, here's the thing. There have been so many conversations that people have had with me where they're like, so-and-so, you know, they were texting me, and then all of a sudden, they didn't respond, but they're on Instagram, and they're posting, and I'm like, so? That doesn't mean you own their time. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, we all do it, but guys are especially bad about this, where, like, guys will be in the middle of whatever they're doing, and it's not that they're ignoring you. They just get distracted and start looking at other shit.
Extremely distracted.
Right? And so then
that happens so often.
Yeah, and like you're not doing it to be like, oh, well, she texted me and I didn't respond, but let me go ahead and like the best example of this, somebody was complaining about it and was like, well, he like we were texting each other and all of a sudden he stopped, but then he's sending me shit on Instagram. I'm like, so why are you mad? He's still communicating with you. You're still literally on his mind. He's thinking about you enough that he wants to send you something that he found funny.
He's just moving the conversation to a different platform.
And he doesn't even know he's doing it. He's just naturally being like, oh shit. I was like, and then all of a sudden she was just like, oh, he finally texted me. Yeah, because he got off of Instagram and now he's like, oh shit.
Because
I should have probably responded to her.
I'm sitting here in the same position that I was as I'm waiting for you to respond. I'm like, people don't understand how fast it is that you're switching between two different things.
True.
Like, I could be talking to somebody on Snapchat while also DMing another person on Instagram while also sending somebody a TikTok through text.
Yep.
And all of those things could happen in like what, maybe 5 minutes?
Yeah. And then you go back and you're like, oh shit, they responded. Let me respond.
Because I was so busy on my phone.
But the minute that you're like, well, it took them an hour to respond, so now it's going to take me an hour. No, don't play those fucking games.
That's stupid. That's the worst thing to do.
But like I said, I was like, they don't owe you their free time. And I don't believe they're doing it intentionally. If someone's playing games, that's a different story. But I'm like, you're mad because the conversation got taken somewhere else. And so now you're going to wait and you're going to hold them to that. So anyway, both sides were like, well, she's just not going to text me. Oh, he's not going to text me. I won't hear from her until tomorrow. I won't hear from him until tomorrow.
And then they heard from each other like 10 minutes later.
You're both fucking stupid. Just tell each other what you want. And if one doesn't agree with it, then guess what? Maybe it's not meant to be, or it's not meant to be right now, or it's not intended to happen right now. But at least you got to say what you had to say. And so I was kind of like playing both sides of it. And I was just like, let's just be real. You both like each other. Just call it what it is. But I never realized that guys go through that much turmoil on the other end of it. I never realized that. I was like, damn, because I was hearing it. Not only was I hearing it, I was seeing it because I was watching the facial reactions and I was thinking, shit, this is what girls do. I never knew that guys and girls do the exact same fucking thing.
And then sometimes, like, there's even more that factors into that. Like, texting in general, as much as I personally am not the biggest fan of talking on the phone, I like texting. Sometimes when I'm talking on the phone, depending on who I'm talking to, I feel like trapped in a sense where it's like, oh, well, especially because social media and phones in general, they've created an addiction to our phones. Yeah. So now I'm like yearning to just continue doing things on my phone, but I'm talking to this person.
Where you're like, let's see what I got, who's messaged me on this app, or what's happening on this one, or this. And you're literally like you said, jumping from one to the next to the next.
And sometimes the thing that you're scared of, which has happened to me before, my anxiety sets in about texting too fast. Because I know, like what we were talking about at the beginning of this episode, I know that as a woman, like if I'm talking to you, you're pretty attractive because I'm attracted to you.
Right.
You have other guys in your DMs and your messages trying to get your attention. The last thing I want to do is to be that guy that's like in your DMs, quick as hell. It's like, oh my God, he texted back like 3 seconds later. That's weird. Like, because I've heard that opinion it's not a popular opinion, I don't think, but I've heard that opinion
from
women before.
But it shows interest too, though, no?
It does. And that's why I've gotten a little bit over it. But at the same time, that is a thing that happens that I'm sure that's like guys and girls can sympathize with, is the fact that it's like, well, I don't want to text back too fast, but I don't want to text back not at all.
See, and you know
where do I fit into?
I will say this.
It's just hard. It's just a mental thing.
I think the people that I did that with, the connection was not genuine. The people, the one person who I don't do that with, it's just easy. Like I'm not overthinking it. I'm not worrying about it. I just am like, oh, he sent me a message. Let me respond. Or if I'm like cleaning, or I'm on the phone with a customer, or I'm like dealing with something with work or whatever, I don't think about it until like I look at my phone. I'm like, oh shit, he messaged me. Let me respond. And I feel like it's like that on both sides, but it's genuine. It's not forced. There's not like, well, you know, it took him 2 hours to respond to me, because I don't know what he's doing and he doesn't owe me his time. I guess that's the point I try to get across to everybody, where like, one of the things I know people get is like anxiety when they're like, oh my God, he hasn't or she hasn't texted me back. And I know that they're doing this, this, and this. Okay. So maybe they're in the moment. Maybe they're the type of person that when they're around others, they're not on their phone.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? You should value that because the minute that you get to be in front of their presence, in their presence, they're not going to be on their phone talking to other people. They're going to be valuing the time with you.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to look at that as being a positive thing. On the other side of that, then there's the people who don't respond and you're like, they're doing ho shit. That's a whole other story, right? But the assumption should never be that that's what they're doing automatically. That's on like,
unless you have like some proof, some sign,
right? Unless you like fully,
that
like truly
it.
can say like, no, they're doing some shady shit. But otherwise, it's like, be real, be genuine. Because the truth is like, when I text you or the girls or Aaron or Tyler or anybody that I'm really good friends with or that is a big part of my life, my family, I'm not like, well, Jordyn, it took him an hour and 20 minutes to like text me. So now I'm going to take an hour and 22 minutes. You know how stupid that is?
That sounds dumb as fuck.
It's dumb as shit because guess what? My assumption if I text you and it takes you an hour and a half to respond to me, I'm like, he's busy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing that pops into my mind. Or I'm just like, he'll respond when he gets a chance. If I need something like in that moment, I'm going to call you. I'm going to text you again. Hey, did you get my message? And then you're going to know it's more serious because everyone glances at their phone and looks at, the messages or whatever. They're like, oh shit, let me respond when I get a chance. So if you don't do that with family and friends, why would you do that shit with somebody that you're interested in building a relationship with, which first and foremost should be a solid friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Any relationship should be a solid friendship.
Definitely.
So when you start bringing in that bullshit into that friendship and then dragging it into a relationship, you're setting yourself up for failure. Yeah. Because then you're also programming yourself that, and this is scientifically proven, like people that are like, oh my God, I have such bad anxiety. And then all of a sudden that person texts you and you're like, I'm fine again. And it's that dopamine, like that high and that low and that high and that low. And so you teach your brain that you're only okay once you hear from them. That's not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
It just continues to get worse. No. Yeah. And so like my favorite, like friendship, conversation, relationship that I have is the one where I literally can like, we will like talk about the most random shit ever. And it's not like we have to say like, what are you doing? Where are you? Like, it'll be questions like, how's your day going? What's going on? This and that, blah, blah, whatever. If we don't finish the conversation the night before, the next morning, whoever texted last, that's where it picks up. And I'm like,
I love
that's so natural. It's so easy. And it's like, good morning, big head. Good morning, blah, blah. And then it's like funny, but there's not well, you didn't text me last night. And I know you were at blah, blah, blah. And you did this. And it's like, there's no accusation there. It just is what assuming. It is. Right. But again, how many people do that? And then it becomes a problem.
I feel like this guy keeps shifting and looking at me.
He does. Because I've turned him a couple of times.
It's weird as fuck.
He's like moving.
Because he's like.
He's so cute though. Look at him.
I can look at you.
Wouldn't you want him as like a little pet?
This is sick, right?
He's so cute.
Yeah, I like this
little crazy little Stitch.
Where did you get this from again?
Goals.
Really? That's crazy.
I don't know if you saw I have it's a taco and salsa. It's up above my windowsill in my kitchen. Sammy and I had gone to dinner and then I got a little bit wine drunk. It was after one of the meetings that we had. And he's like, we gotta walk around Kohl's and get you sobered up. And I thought that shit was the funniest thing ever. And I think I bought him on one of those no, I don't think I was wine drunk on that one. He just was really cute.
Yeah, because you love Stitch.
Yeah, but he's also super cute. Like, look at him. He just looks like...
And he's life size. This is how big Stitch is supposed to be.
I'm like, you just want to like hug him.
That's sick.
Like, he's cute.
Taco's this big.
Yeah. It would not... his head's not that big.
Oh, his head's definitely not this big, but he's like this size.
Yeah. That's funny. He is.
Anyway, that was random. My bad.
So, yeah, anyway, I guess to recap, don't be stupid in people's DMs. Don't be an asshole. Don't I'm going to say like the age thing, if it works for you, great. But some of those age gaps are weird, crazy.
Yep.
Like I said, I can't talk. I've dated people younger than me. In fact, some of my favorite people have been the people that were younger than me that I dated. just be genuine, be fucking real. Like, why is that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just be yourself. Like, stop playing games in these situations.
That's the biggest thing
somebody,
in all of those situations. Just be yourself.
Just be yourself. And like, if they don't like you, then fuck them, and you can move on and have value for yourself enough that you're not going to put yourself through these shitty situations and tolerate less than you deserve, less than you're willing to put out. I mean, there's plenty of people who also are like, I deserve the world. And it's like, but bitch, you ain't doing anything.
No.
This isn't a participation trophy. Like, you got to actually put effort into this. But be genuine. I think life is too fucking short to sit there and worry about like, oh, he texted me in 17 minutes. Now I'm going to take 20. Fuck off with that shit. Just be genuine, be real about it. And we've all done it, because I've done it too. But it doesn't serve any purpose, and it's just not real.
It's just about realizing that shit is dumb, like you just said.
It is. It's
a
like,
waste of
grow
time.
up.
It's dumb. It's a waste of
Get
energy.
out of people's DMs. If they're not responding to you, or they don't respond to you the way that you want to, wish them well. Be the bigger person, but don't be an asshole. Like,
and don't send unsolicited pictures, you perverts.
Don't send your little panty wiener pictures, because I can't speak for all girls, but we don't want to see that shit.
Yeah, nobody wants to see this shit. Keep it to yourself.
Nobody wants to see it. Put it away.
I like this one. This was fun.
Just random.
I love it. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to please like and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcast from, make sure to give us a heart, give us 5 stars, follow us, subscribe. It's different terminology for whatever your app you're listening to us on, but make sure to please support us. Share this content with whoever you see. If you see us post stories, if you see us post clips,
reels,
pictures, anything, make sure to please share it. It helps us so much more than you would ever know. And if you would like to, just leave a comment either on the podcast apps or on YouTube for what you want to see us do next. If you want to see us participate in something that's outside of the podcast, maybe it serves as a podcast episode, but we're doing something else, that would be cool too. And yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all I got, unless you have anything.
We'll have to talk about, what did we do? Territory days? We'll have to talk about that last time.
I forgot about that.
Because we did say we're like, we're going to talk about territory days, but
we'll talk about it next time.
We'll talk about that next time.
It was fun as hell.
It was cool. Yeah, no, it was cool. But yeah, thank you guys for your support, your love. Always, like Jordyn said, if you guys can share, that would help us out. Getting back into the rhythm. We had a couple of weeks. We were just needing a little bit of time. Life just got crazy as it does, but as always, we love all the support. I love the people who reach out to us and are like commenting on the different parts of like the podcast, cool. And they're like, how did you not know the Ninja Turtle is this and that?
And that's like
shout out to Dia Marie.
30 minutes in. I think that's cool.
I know, and that's Dia. She's love my friends in my life, and so shout out to you, because we absolutely love that you do that every single episode, and it's funny. So thank you for the love and the support for everybody. But yeah, that's it for now. We got some more stuff for you guys coming up next round, and so keep an eye out for like what Jordyn said for our reels, our posts, our photos, whatever we put out. But yeah, much love, and don't be creepers, don't be perverts. Have some value for yourselves, and just get out of people's DMs saying stupid shit. Don't do it. Just don't. It's not good.
Do it. Keep it to yourself. It's not cute.
It's yucky. Just
yeah.
Just keep it in your pants.
Yeah, please.
All right, we love you guys. Thanks for supporting like always, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.